I am 86 years old, and I do not take medicines. Not because I believe they are bad, not because I feel invincible. Simply, over the years, I have learned to care for my body in a different way, more consciously, more respectfully, and above all, more connected to what I truly need. At this age, it is common to see how most older people accumulate pills in a box, one for blood pressure, another for sleep, another for the stomach, and so on. And although in some cases they are necessary, in my case, I have managed to stay strong, clear-headed, and energetic thanks to something much simpler, a morning routine that I have repeated every day for years. It is not a magic formula. It is not something that changes your life overnight. But I can tell you, with total honesty, that these 4 things I do each morning are responsible for how I feel today. That is why I am here. Because I know that many people, perhaps you listening to me right now, wake up with pain, with tiredness, with that feeling that the body no longer responds as it used to. And I understand, because it happened to me too. But the important thing is that something can be done, and it does not have to be complicated or costly. Today I will tell you what those 4 habits are, what I do, why I do it, how I do it, and what real changes I have felt since I integrated them into my life. You do not need strange supplements, nor expensive equipment, nor live in the countryside surrounded by nature. You only need intention, a little consistency, and a willingness to listen to what your body has been asking you for a long time. Attention. Join me, and I assure you that something within you will resonate. Perhaps you will find in this routine something you needed without realizing it. And before starting, I would love to get to know you a little better. How old are you? Where are you watching us from? Leave it in the comments. I will love reading you and knowing with whom I share this little secret of life. Ready? Then let's begin. Because it is never too late to take care of yourself. In the mornings, the body wakes up like a plant after a night without sun, thirsty, fragile, slow, waiting for care. But unlike a plant, which depends on rain or the gardener, our body depends on us. During the night, everything in us slows down. Digestion keeps working, although more slowly. Circulation adjusts. The liver, the kidneys, and other organs dedicate themselves to cleaning what we have eaten, felt, and breathed during the previous day. That is why, when we open our eyes in the morning, we are not at zero. We are in transition. It is as if the body says, I am ready to start, but I need you to help me. And what you do in that first hour of the day will determine how you feel for the rest of the time. Your energy level, your mental clarity, your digestion, even your mood. In my case, there was a time when I had no routine at all. I got up whenever, had a black coffee, ate anything, and went out to face the day as if it were an uphill race. By noon I was already tired, with a headache or back pain, and feeling older than I was. Everything changed when I understood that the body does not need complicated things. It needs respect, and that the best time to give it is in the morning. The way you wake up is, many times, the way you will live your day. And if you repeat that for weeks, months, years, that will be the way you live your life. That is why I began to build a morning routine that was as simple as it is powerful. And over time, I realized that not only did I feel better, but I stopped needing so many doctor visits. My digestion improved. I slept better. I walked with more lightness. I felt more myself. Each of the 4 things I do in the morning has a purpose. I do not do them out of habit, but because I know what they do to my body. And today I want to share them with you so that you choose if any of them can also be part of your life. Let us go to the first. It is the simplest, and at the same time, the most ignored by most. Every morning, before anything else, even before speaking to someone or turning on the radio, I do a single action that completely changed the way I feel in my body. I drink a large glass of warm water with lemon juice. It may seem very simple, and it is. But simplicity, when done with intention and consistency, can be deeply transformative. For years I suffered from constipation. Days would pass without going to the bathroom normally. I tried laxatives, more fiber, less bread, more fruit. Nothing worked completely. I also woke up with heartburn, with a burning sensation in my chest and throat that only got worse with coffee. Every breakfast felt like a battle. Until one day, a neighbor told me about water with lemon on an empty stomach. She told me, "Do not expect miracles, just try it for 7 days." And I did. By the 3rd day, my stomach no longer burned. By the 5th, I began to go to the bathroom without effort. And since then, I have not stopped doing it. Why does it work? First, because upon waking, the body is dehydrated. And when we give it a glass of water, especially warm water, we help the organs to start moving. Warm water, unlike cold, does not shock the digestive system. It wakes it gently. The lemon, although acidic in the mouth, becomes alkaline in the body. This helps the liver to do its cleansing work, stimulates bile production, and prepares the stomach to receive food without generating heartburn. Furthermore, lemon is full of vitamin C, antioxidants, and minerals. It helps to strengthen the immune system and to keep the skin clearer and more luminous. It is as if it cleans the internal pipes before the day's work begins. And if you ask me why I prefer this over coffee, the answer is simple. Coffee dehydrates, stimulates abruptly, and when there is no food in the stomach, it can irritate it. Warm water with lemon, on the other hand, accompanies the body. It does not push or demand. Now, not everyone tolerates lemon. Some people have very sensitive stomachs or suffer from ulcers. In such cases, you can substitute it with a mild ginger infusion or simply warm water alone. The important thing is the lukewarm hydration, not so much the citric acid itself. And how to do it well? I use half a lemon in a glass of about 250 milliliters of warm water. It should not be boiling, just warm to the touch. I prepare it just after getting up, before anything else. I add no sugar or honey. It is a moment of connection between the body and me. And yes, one must be careful. If you have kidney problems, if you are taking medications that affect the gastric mucosa, or if lemon causes you discomfort, do not do it every day. You can do it a couple of times a week, or consult your doctor if you have doubts. But if your body accepts it, give it a chance. Because hydrating with intention, from the very first moment of the day, is telling the body, "I am here with you. Let us go together." And believe me, the body appreciates it more than you can imagine. Let us now go to the second habit, one that activates the body from the outside, but also from the inside. Each morning, right after drinking my glass of warm water with lemon, I do not jump out of bed, let alone run to dress. Instead, I stay a few more minutes there, in silence, with myself. It is not that I am lazy, it is that I learned that before moving the body, one must awaken the soul. My second morning habit is simple yet powerful: to breathe consciously and move gently. You do not need to be flexible, nor have experience with yoga or gymnastics. You only need presence, and that we all have. Breathing is the first thing. Most people breathe shallowly, quickly, as if air is something that must be caught in a hurry. But breathing is the bridge between body and mind. When you breathe deeply, something changes inside. So I sit on the bed, or if I am more tired that day, I lie down with my back straight and my hands on my abdomen. I inhale through my nose, counting to 4, hold the air for 2 seconds, and exhale through my mouth slowly, counting to 6. I repeat it about 5 times, nothing more. Sometimes I close my eyes. Sometimes I open the window. The important thing is not the surroundings, but being present. By breathing like this, the body understands that it is time to wake up, but without shocks. The mind calms, the heart finds its rhythm. Afterward, I begin with gentle movements. First, I rotate my ankles, one at a time in circles. Then my wrists. I stretch my arms toward the ceiling as if trying to reach the sun. I tilt my head to one side, then the other. I make small rotations with my neck. Nothing forced, nothing painful. I like to think of this as greeting each part of my body. It is telling the joints, "Good morning, we are in this together." By moving like this, I feel how the blood begins to circulate better, how the stiffness of the night dissolves little by little. Before, my mornings were clumsy. I would wake up with back pain, with swollen feet, with a clouded mind. But since I have practiced this little ritual of breathing and movement, everything changes. Not only do I feel lighter, I also feel more centered. Even if you have reduced mobility, you can do it. You can move only your hands, your shoulders, roll your eyes, breathe deeply. It is not about the quantity of movement, but the intention with which you do it. And that, believe me, transforms the day. And there is something else I add to this moment. Before finishing, I do something that helps me start from a place of gratitude. Sometimes out loud, sometimes in silence, I say, "Thank you for this day. Thank you because I am alive. Thank you for my body, imperfect, but mine." It seems silly, but that gratitude changes my mood. It does not matter if the day will bring challenges, if there will be difficult news, if the body will hurt a bit more. I already have a firm foundation on which to walk. Because it is not about starting the day running after the clock. It is about starting inhabiting the body, greeting the soul, connecting with the essential. Breathe, move, give thanks. That simple, that deep. After awakening the body with warm water and gentle movement, I move on to something equally important, although often forgotten. Awakening the mind, but with calm. I do not start the day with the news. I do not turn on the television. I do not check my phone. My third morning habit is to dedicate a few minutes to silence, or to a reading that inspires me. For many years, my routine upon waking included turning on the television, the news, morning programs, background noise. I used to say it was to inform myself, but the truth is that, within minutes, I already felt anxious. I started the day agitated, with a tight chest, with my heart racing without knowing why. Until one day, I stopped to observe. Why do I feel like this so early, if I've just gotten up? And the answer was clear. The first thing I put into my mind was noise. And so, my day began disordered. I decided to try something different. I turned off the television. I sat by the window, and I simply listened to the silence. At first, it made me uncomfortable. Silence scares you when you are not used to it. But then it embraced me. Since then, every morning, I gift myself between 5 and 15 minutes of silence or calm reading. Sometimes I read a passage from a spiritual book, a phrase that makes me think. I have a small notebook with thoughts I have copied over the years, phrases that bring me back to center, that remind me what truly matters. Other times, I read nothing. I just look at the sky. I observe how the light moves, how the tone of the day changes. I realize I am alive, and that, already, is a miracle. This habit has helped me start each day with a clearer, calmer mind. It prevents stress from catching me from the very first moment. Instead of running after the clock, I feel like I am guiding the helm. If you are starting and do not know where to begin, here are some tips. Choose a quiet place. It can be a chair near the window, a special corner, even the kitchen table. You do not need much time. 5 minutes are enough. If you decide to read, look for brief texts. Nothing that accelerates you. Books of wisdom, spirituality, poems, reflections. If you prefer to write, keep a small journal. Write down a phrase, an emotion, a nice memory. And if you simply want to be in silence, do it. Breathe. Observe. There is nothing more important to do than that moment with yourself. This habit has nothing to do with religion, nor with great philosophies. It has to do with returning to yourself before giving yourself to the world. Because before answering messages, attending responsibilities, or reading news, your mind needs an anchor, and that anchor can be silence, or a phrase that reminds you who you are. One day her granddaughter told her, "Grandma, why don't you try vinegar and eggshells? I saw it on the internet." At first she thought it was nonsense, but she tried it, and since then she never bought chemical cleaners again. She told me, "I clean better, I save money, and even my hands are softer." After caring for my mind with silence and good reading, it's time to nourish my body. And here comes the fourth habit of my mornings, one that, although it seems simple, has transformed everything. Breakfast. But not just any breakfast. A breakfast with intention. For many years, I ate the first thing I found. A quick piece of toast, a black coffee with something sweet, sometimes nothing. I would say I wasn't hungry. And then, mid-morning, I felt weak, irritable, without energy. It was like starting the day without fuel. Today, my breakfast is different. It is not about eating a lot. It is about eating well, and above all, doing so with respect. Because after sleeping, your body has gone many hours without food, and the first thing you give it shapes how it will function the rest of the day. My breakfast usually includes some protein. It might be a boiled egg, a few spoonfuls of plain yogurt, or a bit of fresh cheese. There is always fruit, an apple, half a banana, a few slices of papaya. I add a handful of nuts or seeds, which provide good fats and help me feel satiated for longer. Instead of white bread, I prefer an oatmeal toast or some real whole wheat bread. And instead of coffee, many times I have a mild infusion, like chamomile or ginger with lemon. It sits better in my stomach and keeps me calm. I avoid processed products, sugary cereals, those cookies that promise energy but only bring fatigue. Because I learned, and I learned the hard way, that those foods give you a false boost and then let you crash faster. I remember a time when I used to have a cup of chocolate milk and some cookies for breakfast. I thought it was enough, but an hour later, I was sleepy. I had trouble concentrating. My head ached. Changing that was one of the best decisions I ever made. For those who say I'm not hungry in the morning, my advice is this. Start with something small but nutritious. A couple of almonds, half a glass of natural juice, a hot infusion. Little by little, your body will start asking for what it needs. Because it's not that you aren't hungry, it's that your body got used to not being listened to. And for those who believe eating healthy is expensive or complicated, let me tell you, it is not. A piece of fruit, an egg, a bit of cooked oatmeal, that is already a powerful breakfast. You do not need exotic ingredients or elaborate recipes, just intention. Eating well in the morning has given me more mental clarity, more energy, and even a better mood. And most importantly, it makes me feel that I'm taking care of myself, that I start the day with love for myself, because in the end, having a good breakfast is like saying to your body, I appreciate you. When people ask me if these habits really make a difference, I don't have to think much. The answer lies in my body, in my mind, and even in the doctor's eyes when he sees me each year. Before I began this routine, my mornings were heavy. I would wake up with stiffness in my legs, a bloated stomach, my head feeling like it was in a cloud. Everything was slower, my body, my thinking, my mood. And of course, that made me depend more on medicines, on coffee, on artificial pushes to start the day. But since I began these simple habits, all of that changed. Today, I have more energy. I am not talking about energy like that of a 20-year-old, no. I'm talking about calm, stable energy that allows me to do what I need without feeling like I am dragging myself. I walk more firmly. I breathe better. My digestion, which used to be a constant problem, has become much more regular. I no longer have that heaviness or the heartburn that used to accompany me after each meal. And it's not just me who notices. A short while ago, I went for a general checkup. My doctor, who has known me for more than a decade, looked at my results and said something I will never forget. Your blood work is better than many people 20 years younger than you. What are you doing? And I told him exactly what I'm telling you now. I am caring for my mornings. I am respecting my body. It has not been perfect. There are days when I wake up later, others when I forget to breathe deeply. Sometimes I don't have lemons for my water, or I am tempted by a breakfast that I know is not good for me. But I learned something very valuable. The important thing is not to do it perfectly, but to do it consistently, to come back to it again and again, not as an obligation, but as an act of self-love. Because with time, I understood that it is not only what you do, it is how you do it. It is not only the water with lemon, it is the moment when you sit down to drink it, in silence, calmly. It is not only the stretching, it is that connection with your body, that thank you feel when you move without pain. It is not only the breakfast, it is the intention with which you choose what goes on your plate. And when all of that becomes part of you, when you no longer have to force it, but it naturally arises, that is where true transformation begins. Over time, many people who listen to me or read me ask very similar questions. Sincere, real doubts that I would have asked myself years ago. So today I want to answer them in a simple, direct way, as if we were sitting together with a cup of infusion. Is it too late to start this routine if I am already over 80? It is never too late, really. I did not start all of this when I was young. It was with years under my belt, with aches, fatigue, and doubts. But the body, even the older body, always appreciates care. You might not notice changes in a week. Progress may be slower, but it comes. What matters is to start without pressure, with kindness, knowing that each gesture counts. Even if you are 90 or older, starting to care for yourself with small habits can make you feel more alive than ever. Can I adapt these habits if I have limited mobility? Of course. None of this is a competition of agility or physical effort. If you cannot get up easily, you can do the breathing from bed. If you cannot walk, you can move only your arms, ankles, neck, whatever is within your possibilities. The secret is to move, to activate the body as you can, without pain. It is not how much you move, but with what awareness you do it. There is always a way to adapt the routine to you. What happens if I skip a day? Nothing serious. We are human. It is not about rigidity, but about consistency with flexibility. There will be days when you leave early, when you have visitors, when you simply do not feel like it. Do not punish yourself. Return to the habit the next day with care, as if resuming a pending conversation. What does good is not doing it flawlessly, but coming back always, again and again. Because that, over time, is what transforms. Do these habits replace medications? No. It is not about stopping anything without a doctor's supervision. I do not take medicines, but that is because my health, for now, allows me. And I owe that in part to these habits. But if you take medication, do not see them as opposites. These habits do not replace, they complement. They help your body function better, perhaps even reduce certain discomforts. Always, of course, under the guidance of a professional if you have a specific condition. And what if I don't have time in the morning? I understand. We all have different routines, but I will tell you something. These habits do not need hours. Conscious breathing can take 2 minutes. The water with lemon, less than 5. The stretching, you can do it while waiting for tea to heat. Reading or silence can even accompany you while you eat breakfast. It is not about having more time, but about giving intention to the time you already have. Because what matters is not the number of minutes, but the care with which you live them. And if one day you can gift yourself 15 calm minutes, even better. But if you only have 5, let those 5 be yours. Let them be conscious. Because a small habit, done with love and regularity, has more power than 1,000 grand plans that are never carried out. After so many years, I have reached a conclusion that I want to give you today, with humility and all my heart. It is not about living many years, but about living them with strength, dignity, and joy. When we are young, we focus on the future. When we grow older, we understand that the future is built each morning. There are no magic formulas, no secrets hidden in laboratories. Sometimes, the most powerful things lie in the simplest: a glass of water, a slow breath, a gentle stretch, a breakfast made with intention. Small gestures that, when repeated with love, become the pillars of a better life. I do not ask you to do everything starting tomorrow. There is no need to change the world in a single day. But I do invite you to try just one of these habits. Just one. This week. With calm, with respect, without impossible expectations. Just you, gifting yourself a few minutes of real care. Perhaps you will discover that you feel more energetic, or that your thoughts are clearer, or that your mood for no apparent reason is a bit higher. If that happens, even just a little, it will have been worth it. Remember this, do not underestimate the power of a well-lived morning, because what you do in your first minutes can influence how you live your next hours. And so, day by day, an entire life is transformed. And now, I want to hear from you. Which of these habits will you try first? What do you do in the mornings to care for yourself? Tell me in the comments. I will love reading your response, because we can all learn from each other, regardless of age. Thank you for accompanying me this far. I hope from my heart that my words have planted something good in you. If so, do not leave without leaving your like, subscribing, and sharing this video with someone you want to see stronger, healthier, and happier. I will see you soon, and until then, take care of your body as though you were caring for someone you love, because that someone is you.